Welcome back, Honors. It's early. It's early on Sunday. Anyway, so it's gonna be one of those kind of days, you know. But let's go ahead and get into what we were talking about in class on Friday, right? So we left off talking about the Delian League and how the fact that the Persian threat was now gone, like led way from the Archaic period into the Classical period, right? We went into depth about how the Delian League is going to become an alliance of over 150 Greek city-states, and how the Athenians are going to begin to like funnel some of that cash off to rebuild their city. We'll get into that in a moment. But anyway, so let's get where we're going. So the Delian League was established, which was an alliance of over 150 Greek city-states to protect from future Persian attack. Now, Athens was in charge of this entire thing, and they promoted a concept of democracies only, right? Cities, they believe, had to pay to be members or pay dues, and Athens is going to use that money to rebuild their Acropolis and also build walls around their city after the Persians burnt down the main part of the city-state, or the main polis, right? So, the metropolis, if you will. Now, Sparta, of course, did not join out of distrust, right? I need you to do really quick, down here, another bullet point. You don't need to underline it or circle it or anything, but write this guy's name in all capital letters. It helps me, and it's going to help you understand where we're going. Current leader of Athens at this time is Cimon. Okay, I believe it's pronounced Simone. All right, let me look that up real quick. But yeah, so he was the Archon of Athens at the time. And by the way, an Archon of Athens, this you do need to write down and circle a couple times. Archon. An Archon is a elected leader of Athens, right? So Cimon. Let's see how you actually pronounce this stuff. I'm also getting a cold, which is really, really frustrating. It's saying that it's pronounced like Simon. Or Simon, actually. We're going to go Simon then. All right, anyway, so Simon was the current leader of our Archon of Athens at the time. Now, really, really quick. Simon, very corrupt, very sketchy, very all about the oligarchy, right? An oligarchy, if you don't know what an oligarchy is when there's a rule. He wanted to take Athens away from a democracy and set up an oligarchy. And an oligarchy is when a wealthy few lead the entire city, that you have to have money and property to be able to rule over the entire city, which no one actually wants, right? So he supported the oligarchy, okay? Now, really quick, looking at this map, of course, the main thing you're thinking to yourself is like, wait a minute. If Sparta is not involved in the Delian League, and they are also getting really upset with Athens, how is Athens going to have a golden age of art and literature and stuff like that when the threat of Sparta is just right down the street? Well, some stuff happened to Sparta that they were kind of trying to deal with at the time, and those two things included an earthquake, right? So an earthquake is going to smash into Sparta, and also, right at the same time, their helots are going to revolt. Now remember, a helot is one of their slaves that did all of their farming for them. Do not get that confused with the hoplite, which is a Greek soldier representing each shield, right? Now, anyway, so the earthquake is going to smash Sparta and really, really destroy their infrastructure. And the helots are going to revolt at the exact same time. So Sparta is going to do something unthinkable that no one ever saw coming. Sparta communicated to Simon of Athens and said, we need your assistance, right? Whoa, Sparta does not ask for help. Sparta doesn't even trade with people, right? So why? Well, while the Athenians were on their way, once they hit the shores of, or the outskirts of Sparta, apparently there was an entire tangent of Spartan soldiers waiting there and said, we don't want you to try and get us into your Delian League. We want nothing to do with your democracy. So you know what? Just go home. We decided to kill all of the helots. We'll just go get some new ones. All right, so... But anyway, as you can see, Sparta's just very, very... they're downtrodden right now. They're dealing with some stuff, right? They're trying to rebuild their city as well, and they're trying to go find some new helots. So they're focused on other things. This gave Athens room to grow and grow into that classical Greece that you know and think of. Well... Simon is going to be ostracized out of Athens by the most famous Athenian ever, because Simon keeps trying to take Athens to an oligarchy, right? And Pericles is going to enter in, and he is going to actually really ramp things up. and I swear on everything holy, this guy is my third biggest, baddest, best person all time in history. If you come into class saying Pericles or Pericles, I'm going to be really upset. All right, so anyway, Pericles. Make sure you got that. Now, anyway, the weigh-in. Pericles, also from a famous Athenian family, and let's not kid ourselves, he was also wealthy, right? He would have been a part of that oligarchy, but he supported the true democracy. He ostracized Simon because he actually wanted an oligarchy, which again is a small group of wealthy in charge. If you want any proof of how good Pericles was as a leader, he was elected 29 years in a row. 29 years in a row as Archon of Athens. He would have been elected over and over and over and over and over again until he died of old age. Well, we'll get into how he died later on. I don't want to spoil it just yet. All right, anyway, now, so he was elected Archon of Athens 29 times in a row. Let's talk about some of his accomplishments, right? While he was in Athens, he built walls around Athens and built up their naval base, right? He had the Acropolis rebuilt, and the Parthenon was completely reconstructed, and the statue of Athena inside of it was actually built out of ivory and gold, right? Reformed the government, actually went back to a true democracy. He learned from a guy named Solon, who has actually to make a fair government, right? Solon was one of the early Greek reformers who actually brought in the ideas of voting, and he was actually ostracized as well. So anyway, one big thing about Pericles as well is before, okay, look, I know a lot of you are confused why I have this Japanese baby and a pile of money, but I Googled yay money, and this was the first thing that showed up, and I thought it was hilarious, so I just threw it in there. Anyway, now, before Pericles, government workers were always wealthy people, right? Because government workers didn't get paid, okay? Government workers in Athens early on, before Pericles, it was seen as a civic plus, all right? You didn't have to do it. It was something you volunteered to do, and so you didn't get paid for it. That's going to restrict anyone that's not wealthy from actually being able to participate in the government, which makes the ruling of Athens very unfair. So, Pericles got government workers paid. All right, so write that down. Pericles got government workers paid. So now, even a poor farmer could be elected into the democratic system of Athens and actually be paid enough to live, right? And he could actually function as a part of the society. Nowadays, senators get paid as well. Things have gotten way out of control, as you can see. Now senators make $175,000 a year for working 3 days a week, which is ridiculous. The VP makes $230,000 a year, and our president makes $500,000 a year. That is insane. Look, they get like free houses and free travel. I think they can take a pay cut. All right, anyway, now, so check it out. Pericles is also, remember this place, the Odeon? Yeah. Anyway, now, so Pericles is going to create pay for government workers, equal elections. He's also going to give free theater seats to the poor, and also he's going to bring in fair citizenship laws. Now, if Pericles had been able, if his ideas had been able to survive, not kidding, had his ideas been able to survive, Greece would have probably been the most dominant and amazingly fantastic place that the world had ever seen, right? But later on, people are going to take these ideas and crush them, which is very unfortunate. But the reason why, like our country does so many great things, they're very Periclean things, right? Giving free things to the poor, giving pay to government workers, creating equal elections, right? These are ideas that came up with thousands of years ago that we're still debating over now. So anyway, really quick though, this is the Amphitheater in Athens. It's very, very cool. It actually requires very little sound modification whatsoever because the acoustics apparently are phenomenal. And he actually gave free seats in this to the poor. So this also really cool, something that some of you probably already knew, but we'll go over it anyway. So Greeks, because of the fact, okay, so let's back up real quick. So since you sat so far away, the chances of being able to see the emotion of the actors was very, 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 very unlikely. And so what the Greeks are going to do is they're going to create these huge masks that they're going to actually do their plays with, right? And they're very, very heavy, made out of stone and plaster. And so it was really, really cool, though, because this was the inspiration for the theater symbol that you know of, the happy one and the sad one, right? So the Greeks actually created the very first, fully fledged Greek tragedy theaters and Greek theaters in general, and these are the masks that they actually use. So don't write this down, but Mr. Terry's number 3 most influential person of all time in history is definitely Pericles, right? Because he's going to create what is known as Periclean Athens, right? Periclean Athens is the era of the Golden Age under Pericles, right? So Sorry, my wife's sending me stuff on Instagram. Now, anyway, so the Golden Age of Pericles included a lot of things. Now, remember, a Golden Age is a time of great cultural prosperity. Now, so new art, theater, jobs, and a great economy is going to flourish underneath him. And all the while, who is this upsetting? Anybody? Who's this upsetting? Who is the Golden Age of Pericles driving absolutely insane? Good freaking job, Bella. I heard you over there. That is exactly right. There he is. All right, so anyway, Sparta, right? So anyway, so Sparta is being very upset by this. But before we get into how angry that's going to make Sparta, we're going to talk a couple things really quick about life in Periclean Athens, all right? So first and foremost, life in Periclean Athens. Athenians lived with very few things. A lot of you probably think, oh, it's a golden age, so they probably just had like stuff like everywhere. No, not necessarily. They did have a lot of really, really big possessions. And this is actually the design of a basic Athenian home. So Athenians actually... Wait, outsided. Oh, sorry. Most Athenians lived outside the city, and they kept animals for milk and meat and things like that. And this is the design of your basic Athenian home. This is one of the coolest things about ancient Athens. The homes are just so cool. They were split level, usually 2 stories in the back with 2 different bedrooms up here. And then also, boom, right here, huge entryway and courtyard that actually led into an altar where they would give offerings to their specific patron god or goddess. Remember I told you about cults, right? Like there would be these cults that would actually pray to different gods and goddesses that were away from the patron god of the metropolis. And so some families would have like a god too, like Demeter or Artemis or whatever, right? So, and when you walked into everyone's courtyard, right, due to the warm climate of the Mediterranean. And then off to the sides, you have your dining room over here. One of the really cool things about dining in Greece, you didn't do it sitting up like I'm doing right now. I'm sitting at my dining room table right now. Greeks didn't have that. They ate reclined, right? They actually ate kind of laying down because most of the things they could eat were with their fingers. So anyway, then you had over here a storeroom or a shop, usually depending on what the man of the house did for a living to make money. And then you had your living room, which was like a sitting room, your store or your pantry, kitchen, bedrooms, things like that. One really odd thing about the home setup in Athens, though, men and women didn't sleep in the same room. So we'll get into that when we start talking about your DBQ this week. Now, the Athenian diet. A lot of you are probably thinking, oh, it's got to be a lot of meat. Well, no. It's actually wheat, barley, lentils, figs, grapes with meat only once every few days, right? Because remember, as humans, yes, we eat meat, but we're not supposed to eat meat as often as we do because we eat it every single meal, right? We're only supposed to eat it like probably once a day or possibly like 3 times a week. So anyway, the Athenian economy also, this is very important. Make sure you get this down. The Athenian economy, most men are craft workers or they work with their hands, and slaves were a very commonplace thing in Athens, right? So most people, when they made money, they did some type of craft. They were like a blacksmith, or they potted, or they carded, or cobbled, or anything like that, right? So that is going to be where we're going to stop for this Sunday. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Go, hopefully watch the Giants get crushed by the Seahawks because I really need Russell Wilson to score like 30 points or else I'm going to lose this fantasy game. So I hope y'all enjoy yourselves. We'll see you tomorrow. Do not fall. Wow. I forgot to give you your map for your map quiz, didn't I? All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you your map for your map quiz tomorrow. What's our week looking like? And we will take your map quiz on the half day. There you go. We'll take your map quiz on the half day on Thursday, all right? So it'll be a quick turnaround for your next one, but we got to do what we got to do, right? So anyway, I'll talk to y'all on Monday, right? Tomorrow. I'll see y'all then, Honors. Have a great weekend.